Alright, first game of today on Polar Night. It is Jona versus Optimus, two Dutch players in a best of three. Let's see which of them makes it out and advances to the winner's match against Denji Takia. But first, in the bottom half of this map, Polar Night, we see our Zerg player playing as orange. It is Jona.
And his opponent from the Netherlands, it's Optimus from ATC Gaming.
Nice. AT Gaming, of course, sponsored by Cooler Master, which is also our sponsor, so thank you, Cooler Master. Making StarCraft and esports happen all over the world.
Didn't do that great of a job cooling this map, though. It's very snowy, but it should be exciting. When I see these names, Frank, I would say that Jona is a slight favorite, just by watching a lot of his matches in the qualifiers and last year as well. But Optimus has showed some real good play as well, so this could go either way.
Yep, you are right. I think most people will think that Jona is the favorite. Also, maybe judging by the results from the Spring Invitational. I'm not sure if Optimus and Jona actually played each other in the Spring Invitational. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to look that up. Maybe that will be some kind of a benchmark as to what we're about to see now. But so far, it's just standard openings for the both of them. Although there is a pretty early drone scout for Jona. Would you say that's early?
It's early, but he just wants to be safe. He's not gonna do anything strange with it. He just wants to know if there's Reapers coming or not. And actually, looks like they're not going to be. So that's a really useful scout for him in this position, Frank.
Okay, because if you know there's no Reapers coming, then you don't have to do X.
You can just be really safe, expanding on your own. You know, he knows he's gonna go for command center first, so you could just grab two bases. Very easily here and be completely safe, so he doesn't have to make any Zerglings, he doesn't have to commit to a pool early on either, so he feels very confident right now. You know, it could even be a little bit annoying with that drone right there, and he sees that command center, he feels good about this, Frank.
Nice. Alright, once again we see that information, of course, is everything in StarCraft. It's one thing to control your units, it's another thing to know which units to build and which units to control, and that of course depends on what your opponent is doing. So Jona doing a good job here scouting. And of course, if we look at the vision of Optimus, we see that he has also scouted that Jona has gone for an expansion because he has an SCV also in Jona's base. Do you think this SCV might try to make his way up to the third base to see if Jona has already expanded second time? Or no, of course he's seen the pool, so he knows that.
He's seen the pool, yeah. He knows what he's going up against, but this is still pretty good for Jona because the command center was on the high ground and he has a drone in the base of Optimus, so he's going to be just a little bit annoying, poking around, making sure he knows exactly what's going on, and he's doing just that, Frank. And both players know what the state of the game is, but man, this is just a good macro opener. That's what we want to see, right?
Nice. Yep, that's indeed. I love the Terran versus Zerg matchup. Right, it's basically the standard sci-fi gore fest kind of style of map. Oh, we see here, by the way, Jona trying to go to make his drone into an extractor in one of the gases of Optimus's base. Of course, this lets you do two things. One, it lets you scout a bit longer. You know, the extractor will not die as fast as the drone, because now the Marine is shooting it, but the Marine actually doesn't do as much damage as the health gain the extractor gets from building. So as long as you cancel the extractor and then rebuild it right away, exactly what's happening right now, then you can keep your drone alive for a very long time. Of course, this lets you do two things. One is scout, and the second is prevent your opponent from taking that second gas.
Yep, and we've got a few Zerglings moving across the map, and while the Marines are occupied shooting a gasser, which is not going to die anytime soon, these Lings could actually be a little bit annoying here, Frank.
So
they can pick up an SCV, and there's nothing to go into the bunker, and
except for the SCV, of course.
Except for the SCV, of course. But this bunker could actually go down if he's not careful about it.
With the two Marines there, I think this is going to be just fine.
It's gonna be okay. He's gonna lose a Marine though, for sure.
Alright, okay. Some
he
great
might
micro.
lose the other one if he doesn't go into where he gets in there.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Alright. First threat now been taken care of. Do you think that it was worth it for Jona to send in those two, those two sets, so those 4 Zerglings? Because they kill one Marine, is that, I mean...
No, the reason he did it also is because now look at the drone. He's actually denying this factory from landing for the longest time. Plus he actually knows that there's a factory and a second gas coming. So he's got full intel with the drone because the Marines had to chase the Zerglings. And he's just taking a third base and he knows exactly what's going on once again in his main base. So good place for Jona here.
Good point, Odin. Very good points. Man, if I had to choose in which player's shoes I would be right now, it'd probably be Jona's shoes.
I don't know how their shoes look like, but he's in a
Or
good
their
position.
seats maybe.
There you go. It's still very close, of course. I mean, they're both macroing, and you can already see that Optimus wants to get full macro mode on as well, because a command center's on the way, so he's not looking to push out anytime soon. He's making a few Hellions, he's making a few Marines, he just wants to be safe. And if Jona wants to do anything about this, he's either gonna have to push himself or just macro harder. And usually the Zerg goes for the second option right there, but there's a little bit of pressure, but these Hellions should be plenty here, Frank.
Definitely. 4 Hellions shooting behind the wall at some Zerglings. That's a no-go for the Zerg. And there's actually another Overlord here. Of course, as a newish player or as someone who hasn't watched StarCraft a lot, you might wonder why Jona sends these very slow units into the enemy base where they are sure to be taken out. Of course, those are sacrificial overlords. They are meant purely for scouting, so that, of course, Jona can keep an eye on Optimus' base and stay as well informed as he has been so far.
Yep, and these Hellions from Optimus are now going to do the same thing that Jona's been doing. It's going to get a good indication of what his opponent is up to, at least that's what I'm assuming he's going to do with them. Move across the map, see if he's got a third base up, etc. And Jona, with that Overlord, did see the third command center, so he knows once again that there's not going to be a lot of pressure. He's actually adding Spore Crawlers.
Yes, because he's seen the Banshees, and maybe he's even seen the Cloak research going on, or maybe he's seen the Tech Lab researching something, which usually is Cloak.
Yeah, it's usually Cloak, and I don't think he actually saw a Banshee pop out, but he must have seen the Cloak research and reacted in that way. And Banshees and Hellions are moving towards the third base of Jona, and they're going to poke in a little bit here, but there's a lot of Queens to fend that off, and I don't think with the Spore Crawler placement that Optimus can make anything happen here.
Nope, you're right. Well, let's see. Maybe he gets one Queen if he micros the Hellion as well, but there we go. Transfuse is available, so these Queens are keeping each other alive, and so far, no casualties yet.
Nope, actually, except for the Marines and the Zerglings early on in the game, I don't think anything has really died on this map. But both players are in an excellent macro position still, so this is gonna develop a little bit further. Spire is on the way, so we're gonna see some mutas, and I think Jona's control with them is excellent. And Optimus has to spot that though.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not prepared for a flock of mutas flying into your base, and of course at this very moment Optimus is not, because he has no missile turrets, he has basically no units that shoot up, besides, except for this one Marine, I guess. So here we go. If you look at the units tab, we see, yes, there's 2 Marines that shoot up, and that's about it for Optimus. So if he doesn't prepare accordingly, then he is in a lot of problems. But there's Thors and Vikings on the way, so...
Yeah, the Vikings are not the best against mutas, of course, but they do okay. But the Thors do a lot of damage against them. He could add a few missile turrets as well, but he wants to make sure he doesn't get clumped into his base too much, though, because he's only on 2 bases. Sure, he has the 3 mules, but if Jona starts getting mutas, starts getting map control, he could deny this third base from going down. That's something he has to be a little bit wary about. But Optimus moving towards that third base position.
Alright, there we go. Yes, Jona, of course, spots it right away, sends one of his crack Zerglings over there to deal with this third base. Let's see how long it takes this Zergling to hack through it. There's some Hellions coming, though. I'm not sure if these Hellions can actually deal with this one Zergling. Ah! Apparently they can. Poor Zergling.
And they must have patched that while I was gone, because usually one Zergling easily wins that. But we're gonna see the mutas move right now, though, and I think the Thors are already waiting for them. No, they're not actually there yet, and these could do a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, but
Banshees and Hellions moving in, but that's not the best response.
No, you're right. No, but there's not too many mutas, so they're not doing that much damage. But there's one Viking also going down. Yeah, so far the response for Optimus is to send a Thor over. There we go. If the Thor gets a shot at these mutas while they're clumped up, there's actually 2 Thors now. They can do a lot of damage.
He actually lost quite a lot there. I mean, he didn't kill a muta. He lost a Viking. He lost 4 mules, which is a lot of money.
Oh, but the mutas!
Ooh.
Oh, one more shot from both of those Thors could have killed off a lot of the mutas, but.
I'm actually still a little bit worried here, because he's gonna go into the main mineral line. Sure, there's a Thor, but it's clunky, it's slow. He's gonna lose a lot of SCVs here as well, Frank. Look at that. How many he's losing right now? This is not good for Optimus at all. No. He's not responding fast enough.
Not at all. And he's flying in with some medevacs, but there's just 2 little Marines on the ground to do anything. Of course, he needs to use the Thors, and he's transporting the Thors in his medevacs to make them less bulky and clunky. Which is a good idea, of course. But then the Mutalisk force is dwindling, but they're still doing a lot of damage. If we look at the units kill tap. Of course, that's that one. We see that there's 22 workers killed so far by...
And he's actually moving roaches to the third base as well during this, and they're taking out the Hellions quite easily. Sure, the bench are going to deal with it, but he's going to lose. He's going to be pushed away from this third base a little bit, and the Thors have to move in that position as well. The Mutors are still flying overhead. He's securing a fourth base behind this. He's losing a lot, but I think it's worth it right now.
Definitely. I think that Jona is taking a very commanding position. Oh, look at there come the Thors flying in the medevacs. I love the sight of that. But there's a lot of units here, and this one Thor gets focused down by some roaches. Oh, there we go. Thor goes down.
It's the supply is still quite even. It's 140 against 90, but there's a lot of roaches on the field. But they're actually taking out a lot of these SCVs as well. So he's bleeding his economy right here, Frank. And he's not responding to these roaches at all right now.
No, lots of SCVs keep going down, and that's of course, like you said, even though supplies are kind of even still, the damage to the economy of Optimus will show in the future, of course, because Jona's economy is now so much better that he will start gaining a large advantage in terms of army units that he got out on the map in just a little bit.
I love how you say that, army units.
Army units.
Yeah, he actually had, for a while there, he had twice the amount of drones that there were SCVs. It's almost still that proportion. So even though mules are good, Frank, they're not that good. And
nope.
He's gonna have to find a way back into this game. I mean, upgrades are not that good for him either. You know, he's got 1-1 on his Marines. He's got 1-0 on his other units, and 2-2 is about to finish for Jona. So there's gonna be a little bit of a window there.
But Jona is mining on 8 gases now versus the 2 of Optimus. Jona actually already has Vipers out, which are now feeding on his structures to get more energy. These Vipers, of course, can pull very expensive units from Optimus towards the Zerg swarm to be taken out very quickly. Here we go. Optimus thinks it's time for a push, and there he comes. Will he scan, take out some of the creep torments, or will he push right away for the third base? Sets up some tanks. Let's see what's going on. These Thor is still in the medevacs. Wonder what the plan is with those.
He's actually gonna go on these 2 tanks. That's a great move right there. And as 2 tanks going down, he can't really afford that right now. And this is gonna be a good flank from Jona. And look at the supplies right now.
Oh, the Thor's in the medevacs!
Oh, he has to be careful there. If he loses them, he loses one of them actually.
Wow.
Supply is dropping so fast for Optimus right now, Frank.
He actually manages to take out the third base, but I think it's gonna cost him his entire army because it's gonna be very hard for this. I'm gonna try and zoom in on this Thor in the medevac. I just love how that looks. Let's see if I can maybe. There we go. This is hard to. I don't think I should be a cameraman. There we go.
It's I don't know how it looks like, but there's definitely a way to follow it. But it looks really cool. You don't see it often enough. But this drop is gonna do a little bit of damage in the main base of Jona, but it's not gonna do nearly enough. I feel like.
Nope. Here comes Thor and some Marines trying to take out the fourth base this time. Let's see if they can get it. They're focusing it down. Lots of damage. Oh, look at those pulls. No more medevacs for the Thor. Tries to run away, but of course Thor is too slow. Will get taken out by these roaches.
Might as well start shooting now. It does. It might take down 1 or 2 of these roaches.
Got one.
It's not cost efficient by any stretch of the imagination. Optimus actually making a decent army right now. Some Marines, some tanks. It's an okay composition, I guess. But if he manages to get those tanks with the Vipers, then he's gonna wipe this army clean. And he's not actually sieged up either. This is gonna be pretty bad engagement, I feel like.
No, but these roaches shoot pretty slow. Oh, but there we go. Hydra reinforcements, and these Marines are melting, and that's GG.